Hi and welcome back to the Geek and Hermit. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you'll know, Dead Space 3 launched in the UK today, and my copy was received this morning in the post, and this is basically my opinion based off the first 5 to 6 hours of the game. Now, I was going to wait until I'd completed the game to do a review on it, but I think it's quite important to get something out there as quick as possible, really. Just in case. I've not seen any reviews, so I'm not sure what the big sites are doing, but just to warn people, really. Although it says Dead Space on the box, it's not. The best description I can come up with this game really is Gears of War in space. What basically has happened is EA have now turned it into a blockbuster action game, which of course there always were action elements in Dead Space, but they seem to have ramped it up massively in this game. Now, you could argue it's not necessarily a bad thing, because as you can see, the visuals are amazing, and it is actually fun playing it. It's just not Dead Space, and so far, for the 5-6 hours I've been playing it, it's not really felt like it at all. I mean, in the first part of the game here, you get taught how to crouch behind chest-high walls, which just feels far too much like a generic third-person shooter thing to do. And I didn't like it. Yeah, okay, it's handy, but why in Dead Space? I mean, you can tell the visuals are amazing on this game, the graphics are amazing, sound effects are amazing, and of course the voice work as usual is amazing. It's just, some of us complained when Dead Space 2 came out that it was a little too action heavy and didn't quite have the atmosphere of the first one. Now, while that was true, I thought they got the balance perfectly right on the second one. Because, yes, it didn't have the atmosphere of the first one, but I don't know, I think with the whole insanity part of it, and I don't know, I just think it was a much better game, the second one. Because you could tell the budget was there, and it was just, I preferred that one overall, really. But this one, it seems to have gone down the path that more explosions and more guns are better. Kind of like a Michael Bay film, which they're good popcorn munchers, but they're not quite. I don't know really. They just always kind of leave you wanting a little bit more. The combat works as it always did, really. You blow limbs off, do more damage, and that's how you get around in the game. And that's still fine. And all the usual tricks of the trade are there, like the stasis module and everything. It's just, you'll see a little later in the clips in this game, they've made it a little too easy. I mean, I started this game on normal for the first run through, because I'll do the whole achievement hunting later on. But you get far too many medkits, literally to the point of it being beyond ridiculous. Because you just get bombarded with the things, and it just then takes the whole tension out of the game. Because, okay, you don't need to use them there, but when you know if you get hit, you've got 7 or 8 medkits in your backpack, it kind of takes the edge off, going, oh, what's around this corner? Well, look, for instance, here, how many, seriously, are in there? It just takes the edge off the game entirely if you just think, well, it doesn't matter what's coming around the corner. I mean, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm ranting about the game, because it is a brilliantly well-made game. It's just an action game now. So if you come in expecting horror or survival horror, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Kind of how I feel, really. I'll play it just as an action game now, I think, but I'm a little disappointed in it. And as you can see, the visuals have been improved in some areas. Like this part was actually good fun, floating around in space, and it does work. It works really well. Another bone of contention I've got with this game, though, is the fact that EA they've added microtransactions, which basically are, if you've ever played a free-to-play MMO, basically it's where you can buy little bits and bobs to make life easier, which this game has a massive amount of weapons, and you can customise them and everything with different bits that you find in the world, which they've done that absolutely brilliantly. What I don't like is the fact that you can buy those bits with Xbox Live points or on the PlayStation Network to then get the guns earlier and whatnot. Now, you can say you don't really need to do that, but I just don't like it because it feels like it's setting a precedent now. because I don't want this stuff creeping into... Well, I don't see the need for it in a single player game. I don't see what the point is. I mean, okay, it's co-op, fine, but I just don't get it. I don't know why they put it in. It's just nickel and diming, really. I mean, you can argue, okay, right, they do that with costumes and everything, but you can ignore those. If you want the costume, fine, pay for it. Or if you want the DLC, fine, pay for it. But I don't want them going down the path of making a game artificially difficult at some point, when luckily this isn't so far. Just so you have to buy something to make it more doable. I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't like where it's going, because it's just this lot content, and now they're doing microtransactions. Don't they get enough money out of us? So, sorry if it sounds like a complete rant about this game, because it's not a bad game, it is just not a Dead Space game. So if you go into the game aware of that, it's fine, you'll have fun. And there are little novelty things, like if you've got a Mass Effect free save on your console, it'll recognise that and give you the N7 armour, which you can see me running around in. I thought that was another little trick. I thought I like that. That's fine. But just don't just ruin it then by putting microtransactions in. So I'll be doing a review on this shortly, but it's just to give you all a heads up anyway. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time, people.